Hey, this is the homework help video for Honors Math 3, Unit 5, Worksheet 3. So I'm going to start with question number 5. So the directions here are we want to perform the indicated operation and then simplify. So that means I want to distribute. So I'm going to start with multiplying the 5 into both terms in the other binomial. So I'm going to multiply 5 with 1, so 5 times 1. And then I'm going to multiply the 5 to the 2 root 3. So when I multiply 5 with 2 root 3, I have to multiply like numbers together. So that means I'm going to multiply the rational numbers together. So I'm going to multiply 5 with the negative 2, but not with the square root of 3. And that's because that's irrational and that one is not. Okay. And then now I'm going to do the same thing with the 4 root 3. I'm going to multiply it to both terms over here. So I'm going to multiply 4 with the 1, so 4 times 1, and then the square root of 3 by nothing. And then now I multiply these together. So again, I'm multiplying like types of numbers together. So I'm going to multiply the rational numbers together, so positive 4 with negative 2, and then the square root of 3 times the square root of 3. And then that would just be 3, right? So square root of 3 times square root of 3 is root 3 squared, which would be just 3. Oops, and that should be times, not add. Okay, so I did 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, and then root 3 times itself is 3. So now I can combine these together. And so negative 10 and 4 is negative 6, and then root 3. And then negative 8 times 3, negative 24. And then the 5 and the negative 24 can combine. And that's it. So then that would be my answer here. Okay. And then let's take a look at number 9. So for number 9, I'm just going to distribute. So I'm multiplying root x with root x. So root x squared would be just x. And then root x times 6 root 5. So that would be negative 6. And then 5 times x is 5x. And then now I'm going to multiply the negative square root of 5 into both of these. So both of these are underneath the square root. So these are irrational. So that would be negative. And then square root of 5 times x is square root of 5x. And then now multiply these together. So the negative times the negative is a positive. And then there's like implied 1 here, so 1 times 6. And then the square root of 5 times itself, so that would be square root of 5 squared, which is just 5. So negative times negative 6, positive 6. Root 5 times itself is 5. So that would give me x minus, and there's an implied 1 here, so negative 6 and negative 1 is negative 7, and then square root of 5x. And then 6 times 5 is 30. And then I can't combine anything, so it would just stay like that. All right, and then let's take a look at one more here. So we're going to take a look at number 17. So I have a couple of ways I can go on 17. I can simplify the square root of 27 first, or I could just multiply by the conjugate because I'm trying to rationalize the denominator. So I just realized the directions don't say to do that, but they should say rationalize the denominator here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and, again, like I can either just multiply by the conjugate first or I can simplify first. It really doesn't matter which way you go. So I'm just going to go ahead and multiply by the conjugate first, and then simplify later. So I took the bottom here, and I changed subtraction to addition, and so that is the conjugate, and that's going to allow like the radicals to simplify. So now I'm going to go ahead and distribute, and I'm going to distribute the top and the bottom because I can see that this will simplify here. So I'm going to multiply the 2 to the 9, and then the 2 to the root 27, so it's really multiplying to the 1 in front. And then now I'm going to multiply this to both of these. So 3 root 27 times 9, so the 3 and the 9 get multiplied. And then the 27 stays the same. And then now I'm going to multiply these together. So 3 times the 1 in front, and then root 27 times itself is just 27. And now the denominators are conjugate, so I just need to multiply the first and the last together because the outer inner will always cancel. Like that's why we multiply by the conjugate. So then 9 times 9, and then negative root 27 squared is just 27. And then now I want to go ahead and combine like terms. So I'm going to have 18 here, and then 27 and 2 is 29. And then 3 times 27 is 81. And then 81 minus 27, I believe, is 54. Yep, 54. Okay. And then now I'm going to add the front here, so that would be 81 and 18. And then I can simplify this now. So 27 is 9 times 3. So I'm going to finish it up here. Sorry, I'm like running out of room. I wrote a little too big. Okay, so here we go. All right, so this is where I'm at. Okay, so 27. So 27 is 9 times 3, and so the square root of 9 is 3. And then I have that 29 there still. So I did 9 times 3, so that gives me the square root of 9, which is 3, and then I already have that 29. And so I'm going to go ahead and multiply that together. So that would be 60 plus 27, so 87. Okay, so hindsight being 20/20, I feel like I should have simplified first instead of conjugate. So if you are just watching this problem, simplify first. Okay, and then I can do one more thing, is I can go ahead and factor a 3 out of all of that. So I'm going to pull a 3 out. And then 3 reduces with 54, and it goes in 18 times. And so then my final answer is 33 plus 29 root 3 all over 18. Okay. All right, and then let me do one more here. So let's take a look at the last one, 19. So for question number 19, it says find the unknown side and then verify the area. So for this question right here, I know that to find area, length times width equals area. So I know that if I had length times width, that equals area. And so I'm trying to solve for this missing side here, right? So if this is my length and this is my width. So then that means that width is equal to area divided by length, right? So if I just divide the L over. So then I would just have my area, which is 16, and then divided by my length, which is root 13, and then plus 3. And so there is my width. And so if I want to rationalize the denominator, then I need to multiply by the conjugate. So again, the directions I think got cut off of here, but it should say to rationalize the denominator. So then I'm going to multiply by root 13 minus 3. And then in the numerator, I'm not going to distribute because multiplying the 16 in won't simplify that at all. So I'm going to leave that numerator factored. and then I'm going to distribute the bottom. So when I distribute the bottom, I have root 13 times itself, which is 13, and then 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. And then 13 minus 9 is 4. And then I can reduce that just a little bit. So I can divide 16 by 4. And so then my width will be 4, and then root 13 minus 3. So you can't see that. There we go. Okay, so it would be 4 and then root 13 minus 3. And that's it for homework help on worksheet 3.